Hi, welcome back everybody, home of the clickbait free. Today we're gonna do something a little different. Now, I'm not sure what I'm gonna name the title of this video, but it's most likely gonna be how to really counter double nemesis. Now, I believe someone posted a video on how to counter double nemesis, and the strategy was to use Taor, and that's easily not the best solution to it. There's many ways. It's one of the ways to deal with double nemesis, but I don't believe that this is the ultimate single strategy against double nemesis. And as you guys know, I compete in the sort of upper echelons of arena, and I'm by far not the best player on global or in the game, but I have some experience fighting. I've been G3 for over a year and a half now, almost 2 years, but I've had to deal with double nemesis as of about 1 year ago. I think that's when double nemesis started to take prominence in arena. Now, throughout my time playing, I fought a lot of different comps, and I fought a lot of different nemesis healers. As you guys know, the double nemesis healers, so I'm going to be using my iPad today so you guys can just keep track visually about what's going on. So double nemesis healers, the common ones you're going to find are going to be Praha, you're going to see Ariel, you're going to see units that, or sometimes you might even see a Bella, which isn't so common. And then there's a whole bunch of other things that are on double nemesis that can interrupt, like you're starting to see Virad, right? You guys are starting to see Veramos. So there's a whole bunch of stuff, that can be considered double nemesis and will work on double nemesis. Now, a lot of people that have never faced this and they're entering high-end arena, they're not used to fighting these type of units, right? So when they go in there with their normal huge nuke comps, if they're using their Tiana double nuker comp, sometimes they'll go ahead and hit them with their huge nuke, and then they'll have that unit interrupt, which throws their whole combo off because they need to have 2 of those units hit. So I'm just going to go over some of the solutions that I personally use or I have seen, and I don't have all of these units, but I've seen them and I know that they work, and I will be showing you footage of whatever I have and I can use, maybe in the video or after the video. I have to see how I edit this, but I just wanted to give you guys a visual representation about how to counter double nemesis. Okay, so the first one that's probably the most obvious is going to be the double ATB booster, as I like to call it. So just switch colors here, and double ATB teams, and the reason I call them double ATB is because you're using 2 attack bar boosters, right? So the most common that you're going to see is Bernard, Megan, and Lucian times 2, right? And the way that this works is when you deal damage to a unit on Nemesis, I forgot what the exact number is, but for every X amount of HP that you deal, I think it's every 7% damage that they take from their health, they're gonna gain 4% attack bar. So the basis here is you want your Bernard and your Megan to go, which is gonna overfill your attack bar, and then you want your Lucians to be fast enough so that they can take a turn without getting interrupted. And most of the time, let's go ahead and erase this. Oops. Okay, there you go. So most of the time you have these Lucians, right? They go, and if you're fast enough, then this will go in succession, right? But if you take the comp and one of these units are not fast enough and it's not in sync, the Bernard will move, right? The Megan will move, and then sometimes you might get cut in here because the first Lucian's too slow, or, well, not from a double nemesis healer, I take that back, but for Lucian, it's gonna hit, and it's gonna hit for a huge amount of damage, right? It's huge damage over here, and then right after that Lucian goes, because it does so much damage, there's an interrupt right over here. And what happens is, say you're fighting a Praha, right? The Praha is going to come in there and it's going to heal up, and all that damage that you did is not going to be enough because now you're relying on this single Lucian to kill. So the key here is you want to use double ATB boost. If you don't use double ATB boost and you just try and go in there with, say, like a Bernard and a Seek and a double Lucian, you're for sure, almost guaranteed, going to get cut in, unless the Praha itself or whatever the Nemesis. I don't even want to call them double Nemesis healers. I want to call them double Nemesis interrupts. When the interrupt happens, you want to be able to have everything go in succession, right? So by having a fast Bernard, a fast Megan, and also fast Lucians, you won't get interrupted. Now, a common thing people ask me is, how fast does my Bernard have to be? How fast does my Megan have to be? How fast does my Lucians have to be? In my experience, the Bernard has to be around 290 or above, right? And the nice thing is Bernard here provides a speed buff, which makes it easier to speed tune these guys, right? And the Megan usually is going to be around 250 or more. Sometimes you can get away with 230, but I just like to have my Megan faster because in other comps that I use, I end up having Megan, I want her to be fast if I'm going to use like a non-Bernard comp, and we'll go over that later. But anyways, the Lucians, like bare minimum, I like 215 speed. Okay, 215 speed. Now the thing is, I've had Lucians at around 230 speed, and I've also had Lucians around 210 speed. So it kind of varies, but the thing that people are missing here is that the way Nemesis works is, just like I said before, you need to deal enough damage in order to proc Nemesis, right? You can't, it's not just about speed only, it's about how much damage you're doing. So if you have this 240 speed Lucian, right, and you happen to take it down and to 1 HP left, you're almost guaranteed going to proc that Nemesis, right? I mean, without getting into heavy math and stuff, you're more than likely to do enough damage to proc that Nemesis, and you don't want to proc that Nemesis. So in my experience, if you're going to go on the slower end, then you need to be doing less damage. You need to be doing between 8 and I don't know, maybe like 9,000 damage per card, 8 to 9k. Now what you can do is you can fluff, and you can have the Lucian that's moving first go ahead and do less damage. I've seen people do like 7 to 8k cards and have the back end Lucian, because it doesn't get interrupted after the first one, do upwards of 9 to 10k on the cards, right? And then you're getting enough damage in, and the unit will not proc. And you guys have seen me Lucian before. I've done it in a couple videos and I haven't gotten interrupted. But again, the really fast Prahas that are like, say, above 230 speed on double Nemesis will with a speed lead is going to interrupt you. So I just want to let you guys know that it's dependent on speed, damage you take, and the amount of, and the speed of the units that are hitting it, right? So Bernard Megan double Lucian is pretty good in my opinion to counter double Nemesis most of the time. If we're not talking about healers and we're just talking about units that are going to interrupt, like Virat or Vero, will runes on this unit, on the second Lucian, will prevent that, and then you can go in there. It doesn't matter if they freeze these 3 units, right? All you care about is that last unit that's gonna get stunned on will. So that can counter that as well. Now, the thing is, there's another comp that a lot of people haven't really looked into, and this comp is a little different. You don't get the speed buff from Bernard, but it utilizes the unit, the 50% attack bar boosters, such as Purian or Frigate. And obviously Frigate's gonna be better, but not a lot of people have light dark units, so we can't just, you know, say, oh, just get a frigate. If it was that easy, then everyone would be using it. But obviously frigate has a higher base speed than Purian. But aside from that, then you just use, again, Megan, and this is going to be a leader. This is going to be a leader skill right there. And then you're going to use your double Lucian, and Lucian, right? So if you run it that way, then the thing is, there's less of a chance of you getting cut in, because you're getting that 50% attack bar, right? You're getting 50% attack bar, which is really nice. And then you're also getting whatever Megan's is, I don't know what it is, but she's giving you more attack bar, so you're overfilling by a lot. Now the key with this one is, I found, since you're not getting a speed buff from Bernard, that you're gonna need a little more speed. I recommend at least 220 or more on the Lucians, and you're gonna want to do the same thing around the same damage threshold. But in my opinion, this is a little safer when you go up against those guys that have the Megan the speed lead with Praha, or like a triple Nemesis Praha. And the speed that you're going to want it at is, you want it at least around 280 or more. I mean, it's really hard with this unit because it has such a low base speed. Obviously with frigate, as much as you can get. If you can get a 300 plus speed frigate, you'll be golden, okay? You'll be golden. I don't know how to draw a thumb. Is that a thumb? Whatever. A thumb. Thumbs up. You got a fast frigate. Okay, so that I think is a pretty good solution. Okay. Now, a lot of people like myself, if you're blessed with a speed lead such as Sierra, Shimite, Pisama, or let's see, who else? Maybe a Vanessa as well. And instead of using the second Lucian, what you do is you add a Megan, Bernard, and Lucian. Now, if you're gonna go this route, you need to make sure that this Lucian, since it's the sole damage dealer, you want to make sure that this unit does enough damage that it's able to kill the double Nemesis healer or the other units. It's fine if you're going up against a speed team, right? If you're going up against a speed team and your Lucian kills that unit, or kills the rest of their units and leaves the Nemesis healer, then you're fine because they can heal all day. Now you have a 4v1, right? So you want to make sure you at least take out 2 of their units. So for example, if you face like a Sierra, Orion, Praha, and a Bernard or something, and you for sure outspeed them, right? Then by killing their Orion, Bernard, and Sierra and leaving behind their Nemesis healer, you're completely fine. So that's the basis on that. And what you're gonna want to do is, aside from Vanessa, if you can get these units right here around 200 or more speed, when you use these, you're gonna get more speed on your Bernard, more speed on your Megan, more speed on your Lucian, more speed on this 200 plus unit. And what that's gonna allow you to do is, after, if you don't have such a hard hitting Lucian and you have a fast Lucian, and it's hitting around the same value as these right here, you're gonna fluff some damage. And if you use something like a Pisama, you can get in there with your AoE and do that nice, you know, splash down and do some AoE damage that way. Or you can use Sierra and have it single target one of the units, right? And pop the bomb, and then she also has that nice AoE bomb, right? And then, not AoE bomb, but the AoE pop, which does decent damage, and you can put the bomb on the Nemesis healer. And then as for like Shimite or Tyrant, you can do like your single target or whatever you have. If you have Shimite, I think it does some good single target damage. Also, a lot of people haven't been looking into the elemental ninjas. I don't want to name them all because there's so much, but we'll get more into the elemental ninjas in a second. Elemental ninjas can be good speed leaders, and they work the same way. They have a really strong second skill that hits super hard based on speed, right? So that's one way of dealing with it. I really like this team a lot. These speed leads with Bernard, Megan, Lucian, and I really like this. Actually, I like all of these. I don't have a Purian built, so I can't really show you guys that. But I love all of these three that involve some form of Lucian, because I feel like Lucians are just really good and they counter a lot of things, right? But that's about it as far as double ATB booster. You guys probably already know this, so I just wanted to kind of cover it. Next up, I like the ATB reset. Now, let's go ahead and switch colors so you guys don't get confused. We got ATB boosters, attack, bar, booty. Just kidding, boosters. Okay, so for the attack bar boosters, oh, I did not mean that. I meant attack bar reset. Okay, so there may be other units, but the ones that I've seen that are most prevalent right now are gonna be Poseidon, Varad, and Gani, right? So, oh my god, my handwriting is so awful. Okay, I'm gonna try my best to write this nicer so that you guys can read. I did not even think about making my handwriting presentable. Poseidon. I'm just gonna write Gani and Varad. Okay, so the three units, I don't remember Gani's buff. I know he got a buff, but I don't know which one. But I do know for a fact that Poseidon and Varad both got buffs, right? So now Varad is doing a whole bunch of more damage, right? And Poseidon now has a full ATB reset. Now, if you go into a fight and you lead with these units, then it enables your CC, like, or your other AoE, like say a Zyros, follow up with AoE damage. Mir, Tesher, Teor, Zyros, Elsa, etc. You know what I'm talking about. If you're able to lead with these units, then it makes it so that the Praha's ATB, I'm going to use Praha as a reference because that's mainly what you're trying to counter here, or an Aerial, whatever. Either of those guys. If you can do that, then it makes their AoE heal not as bad because they're not going to take a turn. Now, the nice thing I like about Poseidon now is that well, for a while, when Varad got buffed, he was slightly better in my opinion because he had that full ATB reset plus the CC, right? He has ATB boost, ATB reset, I'm sorry, plus CC, and it wasn't as good. But then Poseidon did have this AoE slow, which was nice too, because even if you were able to, if you missed your ATB reduction, you were able to put on a slow, which meant that if your units were fast enough, even if you proc Nemesis, if that unit wasn't like super quick, then your team could still take a turn because that unit was so slow. Like what you're doing in turn was making their ticks from the ATB boost not as strong, right? So that was what was good about the AoE slow on Poseidon, but he just recently got a buff, so now Poseidon is doing a full ATB reset. Plus he has a leader skill, the attack leader skill, which means he can do more damage. So I actually prefer Poseidon now because he can actually take advantage of that attack leader skill, and he also has the AoE silence, which means that if you put him on violent and this AoE slow plus ATB reset fails, right? If it fails, then if you violent proc, you can still silence them, right? So in my opinion, I think that Poseidon's better. And Gani, I do not have as much experience with. I do not have that unit, but I've witnessed him control the match based on reducing the ATB boost. I'm not sure how much damage he does, but if you can get this guy to reset the skill, it's gonna have a reset skill, right? Plus reset ATB, then you just set yourself up for a huge nuke like an Elsa or a Zyros or any of those big nukes, or an Amir, right? So just having a Ganymede, or however you say Ganymede, just having it reset is going to help you expand your game by a huge mile, right? And I should have gave you guys a disclaimer. These are mostly Nat 5 counters, but what we're trying to counter here is the end game arena, right? So anyways, Gany with the reset skill and reset attack bar, what this does is it allows you to not only reset the attack bars, but because you're resetting the skill, they can't even heal or interrupt or do whatever anyways, because they don't their skills are on cooldown unless they violent proc like a million times, right? So anyways, those are what I like to call the ATB reset. Now the next one is going to be high single target damage, and this is where you bring your big nukes that just kill by themselves. Now there's a number of these, most notably the Squall Chimeras, Teor and Lag, and if you're lucky enough, Ashan, but not all of us are that fortunate, right? You can use Sierra, which is a huge single target nuker. Sierra. You can use Tesher. Tesher is good as well. And these are the more well-known ones, right? These are the ones that you're using huge damage with. And basically what you're going to do in there is you're just going to get in there from turn 1 and just pop that you're going to pop that Nemesis unit right from the get-go. So if you're going up against a Praha, obviously Lag is a really nice choice, so is Teor. You just go in there, armor break, Squall, and kill that unit right from the get-go. Tesher, same thing, armor break, get in there, use the second skill, pop them for like 100k, whatever your Tesher does. Sierra is a little more RNG because you have to land the bomb, but the nice thing about Chimeras as well is that if you're hitting that Nemesis unit and your Chimera does huge damage, sometimes it can go right through the immunity and it doesn't matter. Now, a lot of the things that people aren't really looking into, I've noticed it, but I haven't really had people talk about it. But amongst my circle of friends, we've discussed it a little bit. It's the high elementals, and it's with Shren or Kali. And basically it's the same concept as these other two. Basically you're going to go in there and you're going to have some sort of protection, whether it's a Huadam, whether it's a Triana, the new Windheart magician, if it's a Chloe, and basically you're just taking out that Nemesis healer or Nemesis unit and popping it on turn 1. And these units right here, they do some huge single target damage. I think if you watch some of my guildmates videos, you'll see them use these double Nemesis units, or these high elementals to do like crazy single target damage, like upwards of like 40k, 50k. I don't know how much it is. It's huge though, and it's easily enough to kill a double Nemesis unit. And I believe Kali is pretty easy to get. It drops somewhere, I don't know. I think it's in one of those scenarios. And Shren was a Guardian reward, so if you're watching this video, you're probably a Guardian player looking to advance your game up into top 100, and you probably have a Shren from our reward that we got not too long ago. Maybe, I think a couple weeks ago, or was it last week? One of those. Alright, and as we spoke of earlier up here with the speed leads, where are you? Speed lead. Elemental ninjas. Right here, yeah. The elemental ninjas, those are also really good single target damage. Elemental ninjas. And the reason for this is their second skill. Their second skill does huge damage. Huge, as Donald Trump would say. Huge damage. Second skill, right? And they have the speed lead. Now, one thing that I didn't talk about, I was kind of unsure how I wanted to, what category to put it under with the elemental ninjas, because I wanted a Lucian team, and then I wanted to have a high single target damage team. But the team that I've been watching other players use, and we've tested a little bit amongst my circle of friends, is one of the elemental ninjas. One of the elemental ninjas, a fast ATB booster, and a, where is it? A bird. I'll get more into that in a second. And a hard hitting slow Lucian. Alright. So the elemental ninjas, what they do is they give a speed lead to your designated element of choice, depending on which element you choose. The fast ATB booster is usually going to be like a Bernard or a Wayne. Wayne is pretty much exactly like Bernard. I think his base speed might be 1 speed slower or something, but they do exactly the same thing in terms of the attack bar increase and the speed buff. And then the birds I'm talking about are Tion or Konamiya. And the slow Lucian, I'm talking about doing like at least at a minimum 10k plus. I'd like to see more, right? Now, elemental ninjas, the elemental ninjas I'm talking about are gonna be Orochi, Susanoo, and Gin. Alright? And Gin's a little less common, but anyways, the basis of the team is you're gonna take Orochi. Let's use the most standard one. So we're gonna use Orochi as a speed leader. He's gonna boost up Bernard's speed, so you're gonna get almost guaranteed first turn, right? You're gonna take Orochi. Bernard's gonna get, if you're around 300 speed, it's gonna give it another 30% speed, so you can compete at least close to Pisama's. And if you're faster than their Bernard, then you're more than likely gonna be faster with the speed lead from Orochi. Okay, so let's just, of course we can go the water route, but let's just use for the sake of simplicity the Orochi team. And we're gonna have Orochi speed lead Bernard, and then Bernard's gonna move, and then the next unit's gonna go is, let's say we use a Tion, which is the light Garuda, and it's gonna buff up the Lucian's attack bar and give it some attack power, and then it's gonna hit and clear the opponent's monsters because it's hitting for 10k plus. And hopefully if you're doing enough damage, it's enough to kill the Nemesis healer right then and there. Now there's different ways you can do this. You can have the Lucian go first after the Tion, or you can have the Orochi move before the Tion, so that it does some fluff damage, meaning some damage to bring the HP bar down before Lucian hits. Or you can have the Lucian go first and then have Orochi move afterwards to clean up. But that's another team that you can use as well. Now, I have to think off the top of my head. Okay, so I think we went over ATB reset. We did not go over. Let's go over a real quick one. It's just obviously everyone knows Zyros, right? So skill reset again, Gani and Zyros, which is 2 units that they reset your skill and they prevent you from using your skills or whatever. Now, getting back to the elemental ninjas, as I discussed in testing, one of my friends, Kazuto, was showing me in AO where he's using Gin or Jin, whatever his name is, the light ninja, and then he's using the light bounty hunter. I think his name is Walker. Light bounty hunter, which doubles. It doubles, right? Because instead you can use Gin, Kabila, Walker, and one other unit, some huge hard-hitting damage dealer or a hard-hitting Lucian. But anyways, the light bounty hunter, what it does is it resets the target's skill, puts it on cooldown, and it also stuns. So stuns plus reset, and that's like pretty much all you want in a Nemesis counter, right? Alright, so that was pretty quick. And the last one that I want to go over is a strategy that I do not claim as my own, and this strategy is, I think we talked briefly about fluff damage. Let me just change the color so it's a little easier for you guys to view. I don't know if this is going to be any better, but fluff damage. Alright, so my friend Chuffles, as you guys seen before, you've seen his Lucians, and he's done the Megan Julie Lucian comp. So basically what this strategy is you can use, there's a variety of ways you can go about doing this, and the first is going to be the Bernard, pretty much the same as the other double ATB strategy, right? Bernard, Megan, and what you're going to do is, instead of a Lucian, you're going to be using a Julie, and you're going to use, oops, not an M, we need an L for Lucian. So Bernard, Megan, Julie, Lucian, right? And by having Julie on the team, and again, I'm going to say so that no one fucking, oops, I just swore, so no one blames me for stealing the strategy. This is Chuffles' strategy. Chuffles from Malicious. Charlie Do. Okay, I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying his name and stuff, but whatever. It's YouTube, right? But anyways, okay, this is Chuffles' strategy. So basically you're gonna fluff damage with the Julie, and because Julie doesn't do a whole bunch of damage at once, and because Nemesis procs per hit, and each hit on Julie, she still does a huge amount of damage. It's just she does it over the span of like 6 cards, right? And she does like a couple thousand per card, and after hitting 6 times, it does a huge amount of damage. Huge damage. It doesn't proc the Nemesis because it does so many hits, and each hit is less than 7% of the enemy's attack, right? So by doing that, you fluff the damage, and then you're able to clean up with the Lucian, and this Lucian can be your harder hitting Lucian, and then for safe measure you can put it on Will in case you're trying to hit that Veramos and he does interrupt because he's on triple Nemesis or something. I don't know. Bernard, Megan, Julie, Lucian is a really good one. I've also seen Megan, Julie, double Lucian, same concept, and basically this AO is a little better if you can take out, so their units have to be not as like on the slower side. If you're going up against like a bruiser team that has like a single quick Nemesis healer, your Megan, like I said, that we go back to that speed of we want it to be at least over 100 and whatever I said, 250 plus, 250 plus speed. I'm so sorry, that's so ugly. Okay, 250 plus speed, right? We have Megan at 250 plus speed, so it moves first, and then we have the Julie doing fluff damage, fluff, and then this Lucian has to kill the rest of that Nemesis healer. Kill Nem healer, right? Wait, that's not how you draw a dead Praha. Dead Praha, right? After you have to kill the Praha with this Lucian, and then this Lucian right here. The reason why you have this extra Lucian here is because you want him to kill the rest of the units, because sometimes if you're going up against a tanky team and this Julie's fluffing damage and this Lucian is doing like 8 to 9k damage, it's not enough to kill those water pandas and those retash and all that bullshit, right? So you just have this last Lucian as cleanup, and together with these three, because their team is going to be so slow, I said so slow, they're not going to be able to do anything before this third Lucian gets a chance to interrupt. Unless, let me see, oops, unless you don't kill with these two. So you want to make sure that these two kill the Praha, and then this Lucian cleans up, okay? And the last that's still under this category that I like to use is the fluff, under the same fluff damage category, is using an opposite element like, say, a Zyros, and then following up with a unit that gets a turn regardless of anything, right? So I don't know how to better put it. So I have Zyros that fluffs damage on the Praha, right? And because he's fire, he doesn't do as much damage as he would, say, a Tesher or something, right? Or another wind AoE like an Amir. Because he does less damage, he procs less Nemesis, and then I clean up with a unit like Alicia, who gets a guaranteed turn, right? Guaranteed turn if she kills the Praha, right? If she kills the Praha, guaranteed turn. Or another unit that a lot of people underestimate is Pungbake. So I mean, I don't mean to say plus it, I just mean or. So, or if you follow up with, say, like a Zyros and then you fluff some damage, you don't proc the Nemesis, or you could reset, and then you have Pungbake to clean up, right? And then you have Pungbake just come in there and get the additional turns. So that's pretty much it. I know it's kind of a lot to take in, and I couldn't fit it all on one page. I will scroll back down to review. If you guys want to look back at the notes anytime, you can just pause the video. I don't know if this is any good, actually. Like, I might have just went off tangent and just kind of went crazy on my analysis of breaking down how to deal with double Nemesis healer. But like I said, I've had tons of experience fighting them, and they don't seem to bother me as much as they used to. And don't get me wrong, I still do have problem with double Nemesis healers or interrupt units, especially ones that I don't know about. But once you know that that person uses it, you can generally find a cure to the cancer, as I like to say. So when you find that guy that you can't kill because of that double Nemesis healer, feel free to go back and review these strategies and tell me if it helped you. If you guys want to see more of these videos where I'm on my iPad and I'm just showing you guys how I deal with these things, or you guys want to have me do a meta breakdown on my iPad so you guys have a visual representation, let me know. I love these things. As you can tell, I love using the colors and all that stuff. And yeah, and if you guys have any questions in the comments, feel free to let me know. If you guys don't like the video, don't be scared to downvote it. I use it as constructive criticism, and I use it so that I can improve whatever I have to present to you guys. And that's about it. I'll have some Guild War action going up sometime this week, maybe today. That's about it. I think I'll play the videos after this. If I haven't already included the videos inside this video, like it's not already inside, then it'll be after I'm done talking if you guys want to see some clips. All right, peace.